Before we get to learn about plateaus and plains, let us watch the top 5 highest mountains in the world. The next landform which we are going to learn is plateaus, children. What are plateaus, children? Let's see. Plateaus are highlands with steep slopes and a flat and large summit area which rise abruptly from the surrounding region. Thus, plateaus are also called as tablelands. The surface of a plateau can be flat, rolling, or even hilly. The plateaus are the oldest landforms on the earth. Some plateaus are very large and extend over thousands of kilometers, like the Deccan Plateau in India, children, is a good example. Almost every continent has large areas under plateaus. Large parts of Asia, Africa, Australia, and North America are under plateaus. Observe this video, children, to know what is a plateau and top 5 plateaus of the world.
This video is about plateau. What is plateau? A plateau is a large flat land that is higher than the surrounded land. Examples are Balochistan Plateau and Pothahar Plateau.
Now let's watch a video about Tibetan Plateau located in Tibet called the Roof of the World. On the basis of their origin and location, plateaus can be broadly classified into following types: intermountain plateaus, continental plateaus, and lava plateaus. The first type of plateau which we are going to discuss now is the continental plateaus. The continental plateaus are extensive plateaus which rise abruptly from the bordering lowlands or from the sea. This type of plateaus seldom have mountain rims. The plateau regions of South Africa, West Australia, Greenland, and Antarctica are the examples of continental plateaus, children. The second type of plateaus which we are going to discuss is the intermountain plateaus, children. The word intermountain is very much clear. It says that the plateaus are partly or completely enclosed by mountains. The intermountain plateaus are the largest and the highest plateaus in the world. I repeat, children, the plateaus are partly or completely enclosed by mountains, are called intermountain plateaus. Most of these plateaus were formed along with the mountain ranges which enclose them. The plateau of Tibet in Asia is the highest intermountain plateau in the world. Other plateaus include the Bolivian plateau in South America, the Mexican plateau in North America, and the Tarim Basin in Asia. Now let's see the third type of plateau, children, that is lava plateaus. The lava plateaus are formed due to the deposition of volcanic material as a result of fissure flows. What is the meaning of fissure, children? When lava comes out through long cracks on the Earth's surface. The total thickness and the area covered by the lava plateaus are extensive, large areas, children. They spread to large areas, and the main examples of lava plateaus are the Deccan Plateau and the Malwa Plateau in India and the Columbia Plateau in USA. Watch this video, children, to know how the lava plateaus are formed. Now let's learn the importance of plateaus. The plateaus are very much useful to us. The grassland, the plateau regions are used for cattle and sheep rearing. Yeah, the pastures there, the grasslands, you can rear cattle and sheep, and the plateaus are generally rich in mineral resources. Thus, mining is a chief occupation in such areas. Yeah. Farming is also carried in a limited scale, children, in the plateau regions due to poor relief, low temperatures, and less rainfall. Now let's learn about the next landform, plains. Plains are relatively flat and low-lying land with almost no difference with their highest and the lowest point. The plains are large stretches of flat land, children, are also called as lowlands. They are generally not more than 200 meters above the mean sea level. Some plains are extremely flat while others may be slightly rolling or undulating. The meaning of undulating here is having a smoothly rising and falling form. The general slope of the land is very gentle. Plains are formed both by endogenic and exogenic forces. Most of the plains are formed due to the deposition of sediments such as gravel, sand, clay and silt brought by the rivers. Generally, plains are very fertile, children, and good for growing crops. According to the location and origin, the plains are broadly classified into following types: structural plains, erosional plains, and depositional plains. Now let's learn about them in detail. The first type of plains which we are going to discuss is the structural plains, children. The structural plains are formed due to the upliftment of the sea floor bordering the coast, mean near the coastal area. The eastern coastal plain of India and the Great Plains in USA are examples of structural plains. Now let's learn about the second type of plains, erosional plains. The erosional plains are formed when elevated land in the sense raised land children, are worn down to plains by the agents of weathering and erosion. Children, you already know how is erosion done. Erosion is done by moving ice, wind and running water. And such plains are also called as penny plains. The erosional plains are never smooth. They have undulating surface with isolated low hills. The West Siberian plain and the plains in the Aravalli region are example of erosional plains. To transform an elevated land into plains take hundreds of years, children. That is done by weathering and erosion, which we have discussed. So it doesn't happen within some months or years. The third type of plains which we are now going to discuss are depositional plains, children. Deposition in the sense the sediments carried by the rivers, glaciers and wind are deposited in depressions, and this is how a depositional plain is formed. I can define it saying that the depositional plains are formed when sediment brought down by rivers, glaciers and wind are deposited in depressions. The Ganga Brahmaputra plains in India, the Huanghe plains in China and the Po Valley in Italy are the example of depositional plains. The alluvial plains and the lowest plains are different types of depositional plains. The alluvial plains are formed due to deposition of sediments by rivers, while the lowest plains are formed due to the deposition of sediments by wind. What are the plains formed by the deposition of sediment brought by the rivers, children? Yes, the answer is alluvial plains. What are the plains formed due to the deposition of sediments by wind? Yes, you are right. The answer is lowest plains. Observe these videos to know how the northern plains in India are formed by the alluvial soil deposited by rivers, and the lowest plateau of China formed by the winds from the Mediterranean region carried out sediments for millions of years.
The northern plain has been formed by the interplay of the three major river systems, namely the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra along with their tributaries. This plain is formed of alluvial soil. The deposition of alluvium in a vast basin lying at the foothills of the Himalaya over millions of years formed this fertile plain. It spreads over an area of 7 lakh square kilometers. The plain, being about 2400 kilometers long and 240 to 320 kilometers broad, is a densely populated physiographic division.
The Earth is a place of endless wonder, where landscapes are often created from mere dust. The lowest plateau is such a place. It is located in the north of central China and contains 70% of the lowest on the planet. It is hard to imagine a time when it did not exist, but this yellow land was created by particles carried by the wind. The entire mega landscape has a total of 620,000 square kilometers. Even seen from above, it's hard to comprehend the sheer size of it. The lowest dune is dozens of meters high and 300 meters at its thickest. 8 million years ago, super strong winds blew sand and dust here. The entire process of dust carrying and stacking took more than 2.6 million years. Scientists can tell the wind direction by the thickness of the loess. Because tiny dust particles are carried the furthest, they came to rest in the southeasternmost part of the plateau. The sand in the northwest part of the plateau is much rougher.
The other interesting fact, children, the Yellow River, Huanghe, passes through the largest, lowest plains of China and drains into Yellow Sea. Hence, the particles are carried into the sea and makes the sea yellow. Importance of plains. The plains are very useful to us children in many ways. Plains have fertile soil and longer growing season. Thus, they are suitable for agriculture. Yes, they're flat and you can grow crops. The flat land surface facilitates the construction of roads and railways. Yeah, you can happily build roads and railways on plains. Is it clear? Therefore, transportation is well developed in the plains. Plains being flat lands support agriculture, settlements and transportation. Hence, they are thickly populated regions of the world. So, more population is concentrated in plains rather than in mountains and plateaus. The flat, fertile land along with well-developed transportation system favors the growth of big cities and towns in the plains. So finally I can say that plains are very much useful to us. Watch this video to know some interesting facts about the plains.